How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of FSI's NASCAR DFS Pick Show. I am your host, TK Nation 47, joined by Andrew Berry, Mega Ruler 31. Mega, how
Yo,
you doing tonight? And
very,
how was your
very.
weekend last weekend?
It was good. Like we nailed the build for the Cup race, and even though like Hamlin hit the wall, like I was like so far ahead, and then
I know.
it ended up good overall. But the build was right. We nailed it there. We had a good race with the trucks, and now we got all three this weekend. So let's start off strong on Friday. Carried over Sunday or Saturday, bring it home on Sunday. Let's
That's
see some
right.
green screens. Weather's good
Absolutely, man.
too, for once.
Yeah. 3 straight days of sunny conditions. I'm stunned. I mean, I don't know. NASCAR was, a weather hub for rain for weeks on end, and finally we get ourselves a nice clean weekend. So looking forward to some on-time racing as well as some hopefully profitable racing. Big shout out to you for the Cup video last weekend. Certainly helped me on my way to my biggest win of the year. Made about $700 in total. But yeah, I hit pretty good on that build. That Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson build was critical, and I did nail the Kyle Busch winner in a big $100 GP. So thanks to you, and big thanks to Kyle Busch and his victory. Definitely have profited that weekend. But right now we have the lift kits for less.com 200 Truck Series at Darlington. 147 laps. Um, yeah, are we? What are we doing here for builds? Any strategy you want to get to before we get into basically just running down the field?
Well, we don't have Kyle Busch. We don't
Yeah,
have any Cup studs in this, so it's a regular truck race. You got John Hunter Nemechek on the pole. He has been so dominant this year that I
yeah.
think he's probably the obvious choice of the dominator, but you definitely want to get somebody out front first that's going to lead these laps. And then there's some really good plays in the back for place differential. And there's some guys like kind of hidden, sprinkled in that people might pass over because they don't have the name recognition that we're going to
Mhm.
call out and hopefully put those in your lineup and hopefully low ownership and they do well like we expect them to do. And it could be a good formula.
Absolutely. So let's just jump right in. You alluded to John Hunter Nemechek, the guy that has been battling Kyle Busch for the past couple of weekends for the Truck Series for the victory lane. But yeah, John Hunter Nemechek's going to be very popular. That's just how every truck race is going to be this year. I certainly think he's a good bet to lead a bunch of laps. I think he's going to be a big part of my 20 entry max. I just find it like I want to find a way in certain GPP spots to not play Nemechek just because of ownership in hopes that maybe there's a problem early and maybe we can take advantage and find that next guy up to lead a bunch of laps. As we know, Darlington, it's all about clean air. It's all about not hitting that wall and tire wear. So I mean, anything can kind of
It's
go when
it's a
it
rite of
comes.
passage to hit the wall. I mean, it's
Yeah.
almost like you kind of gotta.
Right.
It's
So I mean,
tradition.
there's
It's like Notre
right.
Dame where they smack the ceiling where it says
Play
like
like a
like a
champion wall.
champion. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. No, I think there's an opportunity for someone else here in this field to lead laps. I think Nemechek's not going to go wire to wire. I certainly think it's a cash play. Your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think you can go wrong. It's a really good truck. It's a really good. He was a Cup driver last year,
Yeah.
marginal, but I think
Sure.
he realized that um, he can come down here to this series and be able to, get some more learnings. And then I think when he does return to the Cup, I think he's going to be a very, very strong racer, kind of like we saw Allmendinger.
Yeah. He's here to win. He wants to win a championship. He wants to win races. That's his whole goal down here in the Truck Series, and he's certainly going to be going for it this week. Austin Hill, I think is probably a decent GPP play. Like I mentioned too, if there is something that goes wrong with Nemechek on that restart or at any point in this race, maybe Hill is another guy here in this top 5 that can be a guy that can lead laps. But maybe there's someone else better in this 3rd or 4th range. Talk to me a little bit about this Hill, Zane Smith, Ben Rhodes area.
I like Hill. I just don't love him. He just doesn't seem like he's the same driver as he was last year. I mean, not much has really changed with him. So
Yeah,
last year he had the average running position of 3 here in the Darlington race. Homestead, he had average running position of 3. Homestead last year, which was kind of a similar track. I,
right.
yeah, I can see it. I just I don't know. He just doesn't. It's just like kind of a gut feeling with him that I'd
Sure.
rather play some other guys. But if he wins the race, it is not going to surprise me. I'll definitely have him in some of my GPP lineups, but he won't be in my primary cash build.
Yeah, I certainly don't think he's a primary cash play as well. Zane
Zane-
Smith and
Yeah,
Ben Rhodes intrigue me.
yeah. Smith has done
What are
good
your thoughts?
here. GMS is their I think it was like Creed and Moffitt last year pretty much dominated um, this race. Now, of course, Moffitt's in a different truck, and Creed has kind of like lost his way. I just don't understand like what he had such a strong season last. He won the championship, didn't
Yeah,
he? Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know if it's like Chase Elliott where it's like the hangover.
I think so.
What's going on, but we'll get to him in a second. But anyways,
Yeah,
the program is good. The trucks are good. So Zane Smith, definitely like him, and I think I'm saving $1,400 off of Nemechek if I play
right.
him. And Ben Rhodes won last year. He's in a Thor truck. He could do it again, but I think it was more like he got lucky with the pit strategy, and it was one of those things where trucks got shuffled out of place, and he ended up benefiting from it, like we saw in
Sure.
the cup race. If it broke the right way with like Larson and some of the people that stayed out there, then sometimes they benefit from it. But as there's more cautions, and the guys with the fresher tires get more of a chance to catch up, then your strategy's
Yeah.
not going to work. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I think, Ben Rhodes has had a really great season, and I could certainly understand playing him as a dominator in a balanced build. So I don't hate that play. I actually think I would like someone from GMS over Ben Rhodes, but I certainly don't mind it. Todd Gilliland, Johnny Sauter, and Stuart Friesen. I don't know. Are these guys on the fade list or the play list?
They're all the rest of the top 9 here. We won't go number 10 yet. Are GPP plays other than Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith is in a Kyle Busch truck. He's been pretty strong this season. They have missed the setup a couple of times, so it takes some. It's just Kyle Busch overall. They're like trying to compose a symphony instead of having a garage band concert. What basically they're trying to tweak the trucks all through the whole, like it's like the whole program is like trying to make it better the whole time until like at the end you have like the final product, and it's like the most elite racing machine. So the only question is do they have enough laps to get there? Chandler Smith, I definitely I like the pricing of it compared to the other ones, so I could see him in cash builds there. You might, and it might come down to, do you play like John Nemechek and a scrub below to try to fit him in, or could you put like Chandler Smith in with maybe mix in with like Sauter or Friesen or one of the other 7K guys here, and basically it's like you get 2 guys up higher that have the potential to maybe lead laps and win the race, or do you pick the number 1 guy and then hope that the other truck that you pick doesn't break down? So
Right. I've liked Chandler Smith the past couple of weeks. I've been playing him. I don't know if this is the spot I want to go, and I think it's because of builds, but I certainly would understand it. Johnny Sauter and Stuart Friesen, I don't think they have any lead lap equity, so I don't really necessarily have faith in rostering them in their starting spot. I know they're a little cheaper, but I don't know how much I'm going to get points wise if they don't finish inside the top 10.
And Crafton is the 2019 version of Sheldon Creed. He won the championship there and hasn't won since. So and he's in a Thor truck and a good program. So it's just, I don't know if it's the whole that these guys are champions and that they were very good because they had practice and qualifying and
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And you have a new breed of driver out there that is just pick it off the hauler and let's go racing, and just their natural talent can overcome like bad setups and things like that, or their crews are
Mhm.
faster to make adjustments on the fly. I don't know if they're
Yeah.
not iRacing, and maybe that helps them too. I think you see a lot of the younger drivers succeed in all three levels that are into iRacing, because I think it does give them a little bit of a benefit to try to see like how the track is and setups and things, and try them out in a virtual setting. I know it's not the exact thing as in real life, but I think there is some merit to it.
Well, if you think about it, Austin Hill is one of the best iRacing. Or no, is that Timmy Hill? Is it Timmy Hill or Austin Hill?
Might be
Who's the
Timmy.
better one? I think that's Timmy Hill. Yeah, he's the iRacing guru. um, anyway, not Austin Hill. I thought Matt Crafton has had a couple of good weeks, but yeah, is the lead lap equity there? Could he get lucky with the Ben Rhodes approach and zig when everybody zags? I'm not sure. Haley Deegan at 10. Any
I am
love?
so like happy with her progress, but I gotta fade her
Yeah.
at 10. Like I
No, yeah, you can't play it.
like she
Mm-mm.
is having a very good season for a rookie, and she's only like what 19 years old or 20 years old. It's just
Yeah,
remarkable,
19.
like how well I think a lot of people look at her and just like, oh, it's a pretty girl in a truck, and this is more of a campaign, for
Yeah.
that they look past her like talent. They see her as like on the outside, but they don't look at like what she can really do. And I think I have said it time and time again, she's really learning a lot here, and I think it's just a
Mhm.
matter of time before I think she can potentially win a race. And I don't know if she's ever going to contend for a title, but I think she's got a I think she can move up into a decent team, and I think that she can have a solid career and maybe even move up into Xfinity or Cup. But I'm very impressed. But I'm sorry, I can't do it here. I don't think that she's going to stay in the top 10. I have her
Nah.
projected to finish around 17th or 18th, so that's going to lose us points. So she's probably going to be under 20 DK points, so can't do it here. The same thing
I'm
with
with
Tanner
you.
Gray and Austin Wayne Self. They're starting way too high. These are trucks that are probably going to finish in the low teens or high 20s, and you're going to lose a bunch of DK points. Um, Outlier, possibly, get up there, lead a lap or something, caution strategy or pit strategy, but that range of outcomes is so slim that I'm not going to put my money on it.
No, I think with real quick on Haley Deegan, I'm definitely out on her. She has Darlington stripe written all over. She's got to take her lumps on this track before she can get used to it. There's no chance she doesn't hit the wall tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm
this
just
is the very, very skilled race. So
yeah. Um, I'm not sure who Haim is, but
I
he
was
is in a
I'm
fast
like,
car.
it's a Haim or Heim. I'm like thinking like
Haim.
80s like movies, with like Stand By Me and like all those other like Brat Pack
Yeah,
flicks. But no, actually,
fast
he
car.
yeah, he is driving the best truck. He's got the Kyle Busch truck that Kyle Busch has
Yeah.
driven here. It's probably one of the best pieces of equipment out there. So we're at a crossroads here. He's a very good
Mhm.
ARCA driver. He's won a couple races in the ARCA series. He's in this Gibbs stable of up and coming drivers. But the question is he more Ty Gibbs, or is he more Chase Purdy, who came up last year and had a lot of potential behind him, but this year has been very mediocre, like anywhere from like a mid-20s driver. Not abysmal, not a complete train wreck, but just isn't living up to the expectations of what we thought. He's not progressing and growing like we see like Haley Deegan do. But
Sure.
so I like to play here, especially for only 6,900. I think he's definitely somebody that I'd consider for my cash lineups, because I think with his talent that he has and the truck that he's driving, that he should at least finish in the top 15. So close to where he starts, with potentially in the top 10. He's not going to pull 5 Gibbs and win this race. I'd be completely shocked if that happened. But I think, he has enough equity at that price to definitely be in cash considerations.
I think this is a play on the truck, maybe not even the driver. I mean, not much the driver has to do. Keep the wheels on this thing. Tell the crew chief when to make some air pressure adjustments or whatever you might need on your track bar, whatever. I think Heim or Haim, whatever you want to call him, all he has to do is keep this thing off the wall, and he's going to have a decent chance at the top 10. And I'm certainly going to be playing him at his price tag.
So if we put Nick Trickle in this truck, could he finished 15th at least?
No, no, that MGD truck's going to get totaled.
Okay.
Next up, we have Carson Hocevar, a pretty decent young driver. Any love for Carson?
No, I mean, he's in the Chase Purdy school. He's just been so underperforming. Obviously, he's been doing decent to get the 14th starting spot, because these starting spots are based on their recent performance. But GPP is not a complete fade. Like the price, and it's a nice truck too, which isn't not.
There has to be a regression.
Garbage, you know what I mean? But it's not as strong as like a GMS or a Thor or a Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
Here, so
there's regression. I think Hocevar doesn't finish where he starts. He's had some solid finishes, but I think it's time where we start to see some of the guys that have been starting in the back start making their way through the field on these starts. So I think Hocevar is going to finish in that 20 range. So I'm going to be out. Sheldon Creed, Tyler Ankrum, and Grant Enfinger. These are 3 drivers you would assume gain some place differential points. Creed, as we had talked about earlier, a guy that, one would think could be a guy to dominate races. Certainly not the case this year. But where's our love and where's our hate for the 3 that we have up here at 15 through 17?
Creed, again, like he's got the potential to do it. I have him as a GPP. I'm not paying $10,000 to find out. Definitely you could get into the top 10. There's definitely some place differential there. My model, based on like his history last year and everything, has him finishing 4th, which I think is a little bit of a reach, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities there.
Yeah.
So, and the GMS trucks were good here. So he and Ankrum, I think, are definitely playable. Like I said, I'd rather pair them in a GPP with
like a little GMS stack.
Yeah, I'd rather do that.
Like if they all nail the setup.
Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly. Edfinger I have him as a cash play. I think he'd be my favorite one out of there.
Is he back in his normal truck this week?
He's in
or is he in the Young Motorsports vehicle he was in last week?
I think he's in the CR7 Motorsport.
Oh, but no, Roper's back, right? So
yes. Don't quote me on that.
I'm pretty sure Enfinger's back in his Thor Sport vehicle, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yep.
I think 17th is pretty decent starting spot for Enfinger, who does. Yeah.
That's why I have him for cash. So yeah, I like him in that truck better than the one he started like 40th in last week.
Very playable.
Very playable. Yeah. Yeah, expensive, but I think I'd rather take him over Creed. Ankrum is good and a good truck. He just has had some bad luck. I forget who the sponsor is, but he's got that like oranges truck or so. It seems like the 3/4 of the way into the race, there's a caution flag, and you see him like spinning out or like on the bottom of the track, but it's never ever his fault. It always seems like somebody ran into him or rubbed up against him, or 2 trucks ran into each other and he got pinched. And he
has a hard time finishing races, but when he does finish races, he finishes pretty high. I guess you would say he's like a boomer bust pick, and I would feel safer with Enfinger. Ankrum is kind of like a long shot, and then Creed would normally be a very consistent play, but certainly a little too expensive for our taste with some of the other plays that we have to fit in our builds this week.
Yep.
But that's going to lead us to Ryan Truax, Ryan Reed, and Derek Kraus. One of these guys is not like the others.
True.
Who is that gentleman? Who is that gentleman?
Well, Ryan Truax I have as a fade. I mean, I think he's starting too far up. He's a good driver, but I don't think I have him finishing like 25th. So I'm not on him. Kraus, I just 9K. I think you're paying for like his starting position here, like starting
anything under 8,500. I would have considered it.
Yeah, but it just if he was 9K and starting like in the 30s, maybe, but
yeah,
I don't know.
He's like 10. He's 10 points off of what we want him to be, unless he finishes inside the top 10. But I don't see that. I see like 10th through like 14th.
He's had multiple wrecks this year. He's had some mechanical issues.
It's risky.
So, yeah, it's 9K. I'm out on that. So then bearing the lead, obviously Ryan Reed is the.
That's the one.
And he's way too cheap. Like DraftKings, what are you doing? 6,200 for this guy?
That's 20 out of 20 lineups for me.
Yeah, he was an Xfinity driver from 2014 to 2018 in Darlington. It was Xfinity car, but it was different than truck. But again, the competition.
He's just a good driver,
right? A little bit better. His average running position was 16.2. His average finish was 15. So he's starting 19th. I could definitely see him ending up in the, top 15 here. That's
definitely getting inside the top 15.
Yeah,
and it's 6,200.
Yeah,
I mean, that's I know we keep talking about it, but that's going to help fit all of what we need to fit, and it's just going to make a whole lot of sense. There is a little bit of room for some risk here, if maybe but there is for anyone on the track. If anyone wrecks, that's just how it is. So maybe 15 out of 20 is probably where I'm leaning for my Ryan Reed exposure.
But he's
that 5 lineup buffer in case something crazy happens.
Yeah,
but I expect him inside.
He's surrounded by good trucks, though. It's not like he's like in this pack of sketchy drivers. He's not starting between like Ricky Stenhouse and Ross Chastain in the Cup,
right? or Denny Hamlin for that matter.
Or if you want to race in, or
Denny Hamlin 2 times in a row, slapping the wall. Anyway, Timothy Peters and Darnell and Ogata. Are these our 3 fades of the 20s?
Well, Darnell,
I don't know anything about Darnell.
He was he ran back in the early 2000s. So he's an experienced driver. That's the good thing. The bad thing is he's in a niche truck, so it's not the greatest equipment. He's been a little rusty, and we've seen some guys come back and try to jump in this like format where there's no practice or no like qualifying or anything.
Yeah, that worries me.
They've really struggled. I think it was Travis Piscata last year that came back and
Pastrana?
In truck, and we all thought, this guy's going to be a great play. He'd been off for a couple of years, and he
wrecked out of Daytona.
Truck. Yeah, it just didn't work out. And there was another guy that I think it was the Daytona race or one of the early races that hadn't.
Yeah, the guy started 38th.
Yeah, he got back into the truck, and he had driven like 15 years, and it was a struggle because it just.
Well, he ran right into the back of the 37th truck on 3 laps.
No, it wasn't that guy, but no, it's. I don't think it's as easy without the practice, and
I agree,
to just jump into a truck and just be able to go. I mean, it's one of the better niche trucks, I think, but still, it's intriguing. It's intriguing at 5,000, but I'm not looking forward to that. Ogata, I mean, a GPP,
I don't know anything about him either.
Just simply because of the price is 45. But looking at
who's he racing for? Hattori?
No, it's Resume Brothers.
Oh, okay.
So
Ooh, I don't like that team. Usually one of my fades.
yeah. So
Um,
that's risky. I have him finishing like down in the 30s. So I think, if he was starting in the high 30s, I consider it, but at GPP just because of the price. So
yeah.
Chase
What are your
Purdy,
thoughts? Oh,
yeah,
go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna say, what are your thoughts on Purdy, Robar, Timmy Hill, Danny Bond? This little pocket here between 24 and 27.
I think they're all GPP plays.
Really?
I don't hate them. Timmy Hill, I think I like the best out of him. I think he's got the best program there. I could see him finishing
Has he got
20th.
the 56 truck?
Yes.
Alrighty.
The rest
I
of
usually
them,
play Cody, but I'm thinking that's a little too high for my taste.
yeah, the rest of them I like. Um, for GPP, I think they're going to finish around where they started. I don't think that they. Um, I think there's only like two or three trucks below them that are going to get past them. But then if you throw in Timothy Peters, Ogata, and like Derek Kraus in front of them, I think you make up for the three trucks behind them. So again, they kind of finish where they started. So Timmy Hill has
Right.
potential maybe to make it up to 20th, but the rest of them should all, if they're the last man in your lineup, if that's the salary you have left and that you can't find anybody else, plug them in, you'll be fine.
Sure. That makes sense. Spencer Davis, GPP play, or are we
Yeah,
out?
just the 74, the price is
They
just
always price him up.
yeah. I mean, he's on his own
Yep.
team, so you know he's going to go out there and compete and be careful because
Sure.
these single owner teams can't afford to get their trucks torn up. But I do like Roper below him. Like 57 seems like a great
Oh
price
yeah,
there.
that's my guy.
His average
Love
running
playing Corey
position
Roper.
for most of these tracks is around anywhere from 25th to 27th. He's starting 29th, so I could see him gaining a couple spots there or finishing where he started at 57. That's a great place to plug in. I think it's a little bit
Yeah.
safer than Eric Darnell, who the 22nd could lose spots, or Hattori, Haley Deegan, Austin Wayne Self, Hosevar. Those guys are
Mhm.
starting like so far up there. I think if he holds his position or even gains a couple, he's going to be better than those guys that could lose 3 to 5 to 10 positions.
I agree. Corey Roper going to be in my GPP builds for sure. Chris Wright, Jordan Anderson, and Dawson Cram.
Anderson's too expensive. Like I like him.
Yep.
I
It's like
think
the same thing with Spencer Davis.
yeah. I just 8K is just it's
Too
just
much.
yeah. It's like the Derek Kraus price, but like where we said we might play Derek Carlson if he started in the 30s at 9. I'm not playing Jordan Anderson at 31 at 8,000 unless
If
it's
he was starting 41st, we could play him at 8K.
maybe, yeah.
See, there's
He
that
started
difference of
41st.
10.
Then he's hoping that the 40th truck doesn't qualify so he can make it into the race. But yeah, it's just overpricing. Cam, the same thing. They're not the type of truck that looks like it's going to get a ton of place differential. The algorithm, I
Yeah.
think, was thinking it might. Chris Wright, I'm not too sold on. Um,
No.
Finishes in the mid 30s usually, so I
Yep.
think he's going to lose some spots. But now we're starting to hit like a really sweet spot here. We have
Yeah.
Fogelman and Boyd from Young Motorsports, and the Young
I do
trucks
like these two.
aren't horrible. I really like
Mhm.
I like Boyd over Fogelman. I think
Yeah.
Fogelman is like kind of past his prime. I don't know how old he is, but I think he's like, one that's kind of like I love Jimmy Johnson, but like he just last year he was just
Oh
past
yeah.
his prime. He just these guys come to a point where they're out there and they're just not effective anymore. And I just think Fogelman might be to that point. But hey, God bless
I
him.
do like that these.
Yeah,
Yeah. I like that these two are side by side though. At the start of the race, as teammates, same manufacturers, I guess you would say. I just think, I don't know. There's some ability here to get to a decent spot, with their race day. I don't know. Experience. Both of these guys are really experienced on the track. They know Darlington from over the years, so I think there's
But there's almost
some,
$1,000 savings on Boyd, and if it's about the same driver, I'm definitely gonna put Boyd in my
yeah,
cash lineup.
exactly. I think
Over
that's where
Coleman.
you lean Boyd is because of the price. Okay, but now we've made it to the talk of the hour.
Yep.
39th or 35th and 36th, David Gilliland and Parker Kligerman.
Lock
Uh,
these guys in cash. Just
yeah.
start your cash build right here. Both of them are very experienced drivers. They are in
Yes.
decent equipment. They are going to move up into the field. David Gilliland, I could
Fast.
see 10 to 20 place differential points. Parker Kligerman, I think will finish in the top 10. He could lead and win this race. The same thing as we
Yeah.
saw Kyle Larson in the Cup race last week, just blow through the field and get up there and lead. Hopefully the race
They're going to get
are a
up
little
there
bit
pretty
better,
quick.
but yeah.
20 place differential points, pretty much not, I wouldn't say guaranteed, but 20 place differential points if they just race a normal race with the equipment that they have, the skill that they have. Definitely going to be the guys that you want to pay up for and fit into your lineup with some of the value plays that we've been saying along the way. So yeah, there you have it for the lead. And now you have 37th through 40th. Jenny Joe Cobb, that's always a fade. I'm not even going to ask you that question. Bailey Curry, any love for Bailey Curry?
Now, this is somebody that's 86,000 that's starting 38th that I think could actually move up through the field.
Yeah.
This is the price point that we have on Kraus and that we have on Anderson, but it's the starting position that we would be looking for to pay this price. So
exactly.
Definitely
don't get suckered into Kraus and Anderson with what you think is a good starting spot for these two, when in all reality, in a Nice truck that, we've talked some slander on Nice over the course of the weeks, but Bailey Curley is definitely a guy that's raced really well. I think he got really unlucky last week, and that's why we get the starting position that we get.
Mm-hmm. And he's got experience through all the different series too. So he's raced at this track plenty of times before. And last week in Kansas, I think his average running position was like 12.4. So I mean, it's before he had some bad luck. So
yeah, I think it's a really solid play.
And he was 19.7 average running position in Darlington last year in the truck.
Perfect.
Race. So
plus that place differential, that's exactly what we need for the guy at 8,600 when we're trying to squeeze him in potential cash lineups. All right, BJ Macleod, any love for him and Norm Benning?
Norm Benning, no, he just hasn't had the speed this year. Like in years past, he just kind of like, it's almost like he's in a golf cart, just like, like cruising around there.
I don't know what that does for guys like that.
Yeah, and if you look at like the standings, like the end of phase one, he's like 10 laps behind, and then eventually he just like gets black flagged because he's not keeping up with the speed and everything. I don't understand.
Ticket to see the show live.
yeah. It's like he's like the water boy or something, so he can get like sideline feed to the football game. But BJ Macleod, he's been okay this year, and I could consider him in cash starting at 39th if I'm pretty sure that he's going to run the race. Like his average running position is like 25th. So that's at least, I could see, even if he finishes like 30th, I mean, he's going to get up ahead of Jennifer Joe Cobb probably, like Kyle Wright.
Chris Wright.
Yeah. Spencer Davis, Bond. Yeah, I can definitely count, or Agata. Yeah, the three trucks that crash. So
the random
Ankrum.
the randomness.
When Ankrum crashes, he'll finish ahead of him. And the two other guys that took out Ankrum because it wasn't Ankrum's fault.
It'll be in my non-Nemechek lineups that have Austin Hill in it. All right. Well, I think that pretty much breaks the whole slate down. We've given you the must plays, the GPP plays, and our thoughts on some of the leaders here to dominate the race. Mega, is there anything else to add for the Truck Series at Darlington?
I think for cash, if you put in like Ryan Reed, Gillian, and Klingerman, and even if you throw Nemechek in there, that gives you 7K for the last two trucks, and that's definitely a decent amount. There's a lot of good plays that you can match with that, and if you want to even go down and play one of those other guys starting in the top four, that gives you even more. So
Yeah.
definitely, that's what I want to do.
Awesome stuff, Mega. As always, appreciate your time. If you guys would like any of the projections, the core lineups, and the free chats and stuff with us for the next 3 races, you can subscribe to our Discord channel on our website at fsidfs.com. And you can find the link in our bio on our Twitter handle at FSI_DFS. You can follow me on Twitter at TKNation47, and that is Mega Ruler 31, the man, the myth, the legend. Awesome, guys. Really appreciate you listening. Give us a like and a comment, and join us in the Discord. Always welcome to new visitors. It's really good stuff in there. We've been crushing it, it seems, and we'd love to get you guys on board. So thank you again for listening, and Mega, thank you. Everyone have a good night. See you tomorrow.
See ya.